Another AQ assignment? Getting started is always the hardest part. This time, I'm ready for this assignment. Cognitive Enrichment Advantage, CEA, learning to think and thinking to learn. CEA really helped my students to think on their own. I remember back to those really difficult September days.
Jeremy, why aren't you working yet?
I don't know what to do.
We went over this twice already, Jeremy.
That was sure helpful to talk to Sharon about how she gives instructions.
I find we have to go over and over instructions. I feel like we waste so much time. Jeremy doesn't have a clue how to get started. I am so frustrated by the end of the day.
I know exactly what you mean. I used to spend a lot of time going over and over instructions. But then I attended a CEA workshop.
What's CEA?
CEA stands for Cognitive Enrichment Advantage. It's actually based on the work of Catherine Greenberg. It's really just a language that teaches children how to think for themselves.
Does this really work?
It does. It really does. I no longer have to take time to go over long lists of instructions. I give the students time to explore and ask them questions, and it maybe takes a little bit more time up front, but in the end, it's taking less time because now they just know what to do.
Well, I've heard of this before, but I basically just thought it was for kids with behavior problems.
I thought so too at first, but then I realized that CEA is more about how all children learn to think independently. I've been able to use it with all of my students. In fact, I had a principal once who told me that CEA helps children learn to think so they can behave and do their best. And I found that it is true. Children in this program really do better. Children think about what they're doing, whether it's math, reading, or recess.
Well, how can I find out where to learn more?
There's actually a CEA workshop coming up in October. You should join me.
Sure.
Students being independent thinkers. That's what the CEA workshop was all about.
How's this assignment coming?
I'm writing about the CEA approach. I'm still amazed that the kids can use this big language about their thinking. Making comparisons, exploration, connecting events.
Who would ever think a grade 4 could do that? And I sure saw your stress level go down. So it works for me too.
All right, if I'm gonna get this done, I need to get back to work.
Trying to figure out Jeremy. That is what pushed me to keep working with the CEA approach.
Yes, Jeremy?
Where do I start?
Well, think about how you could use exploration.
What is exploration?
Well, do you remember when we made the mind map about exploration?
Oh yeah, now I remember.
CEA makes sense for my students and makes sense for me. Ultimately, my job as a teacher is to help my students know how to think so they are ready to learn. My biggest concern going into this was the amount of time I thought I would have to devote to incorporating something new into my class. And my biggest fear was I already had so much to do. I couldn't imagine adding anything else to my plate. I think the big realization came to me when I figured out that this wasn't a matter of time, it was a matter of approach. This big idea came to me one day when I spent a lot of time answering questions and solving problems for my students that they could really solve themselves if they had the skills to do it. The CEA language gave my students those needed independent thinking skills. After we learned the CEA language, I just had to give a quick prompt and not a whole long lecture. I even used the CEA concepts with my junior division team to plan out our teaching learning critical pathway. That helped us understand where our students might get stuck and how to help them. The CEA language also worked for report card comments. CEA is the most helpful tool in my teaching toolkit. CEA is an umbrella for all learning.